We're talking about the most frivolous lawsuits ever. In New Zealand legal system, you have the right to be heard in the court of law. Even if you have not been injured, you have the right for the court to hear your grievances. Today, we're going to discuss about the most frivolous lawsuits. Hence, you might not have been so frivolous after all. If we are discussing a lawsuit, it is labeled frivolous. There is no better way to start with McDonald's coffee cup case, known as the Liebeck lawsuit. Let's start with the story of Stella Liebeck, the woman who split blazing hot coffee on her lap and sued the restaurant. Here are the facts you might not have heard before. On February 27th, 1992, a 79-year-old woman from Albuquerque and ordered a coffee cup from McDonald's coffee through the drive-thru window. Liebeck was sitting on the passenger side of the vehicle of her parked car as her grandson went to grab some sugars and cream. As the vehicle did not have cup holders, Liebeck placed the hot coffee cup between her knees and pulled to open the lid. She didn't spill the entire cup of blazing hot coffee on her lap, causing 3-degree burns on her thighs, on her legs, and groin.
All I remember is trying to get out of the car. I screamed, not realizing I was burned that bad. I knew I was in terrible pain.
She was hospitalized for 8 days and had to undergo skin graft. Liebeck was permanently disfigured and partially disabled for 2 years. Some of the trial exhibits that were used in a particular case shined light on how devastating her injuries really were. Liebeck sued McDonald's, accusing the company of gross negligence for selling coffee that was unreasonably dangerous and defectively manufactured. A trial uncovered that McDonald's had served coffee between 180 degrees to 190 degrees, much higher than the industry normal. All injuries reported they sustained 3-degree burns, which happened in 2 seconds. Other initial documents obtained by McDonald's from 1992 and 1982 to 1992, they received more than 700 injuries due to the coffee at McDonald's. All injuries reported they sustained 3-degree burns from their coffee. McDonald's settled claim said injuries for more than $500,000. In this case, the jury awarded Liebeck $200,000 for compensatory damages, but reduced it by the 20% to $160,000 to account for her own negligence in spilling her coffee on herself. The jury also awarded $2.7 million based on her lawyer's The jury also awarded $2.7 million based on her lawyer's suggestion to penalize McDonald's with 2 days of coffee revenue, which is equal to about $1.35 million per day. The punitive damage rewards were supported by the discovery about 700 people had been previously burned by hot coffee, demonstrating that the company had an actual knowledge that hot coffee was being served to remedy the issue. The judge reduced the punitive damages by 3 times compensatory damages to about $480,000, the total judgment of $640,000. The decision was appealed to the party, settled for a closed amount of less than $600,000. So, if prior to watching this video, amount of clumsy green woman to get rich quick over her own mistake, you're mistakenly not alone. The general public was misinformed about the nature of this case. As a result of general public wrongly believed that Liebeck spilled coffee while she was driving her car, and in fact just a passenger of a parked car, the injuries were minor, but she was in fact permanently disfigured. Despite what you might think and what you might have heard, Liebeck did not sue McDonald's for millions of dollars. In fact, she did not want to sue them at all. She only requested $20,000 to cover her medical expenses and lost income. McDonald's responded by insulting an $800 settlement offer. Liebeck offer also settled amounts ranging from $90,000 to $100,000 from McDonald's. Also rejected all 3 trial efforts to settle the case. All Liebeck asked was $100,000 from the trial, and it was the jury who awarded her $2.7 million, which she did not receive because the punitive damages were chopped. The jury did not find Liebeck was The jury did find that Liebeck was partially responsible for her injuries. And the reason for that is because, first of all, even though you didn't have, even though that you had a car, and had no cup holders whatsoever, and she didn't have to keep the hot coffee between her legs. She could have held the coffee, even though it was so hot. She could have at least put it on the floor, but then again, she might kick it over and it would spill everywhere. But that's better than getting her spilt and causing 3-degree burns and creating a lawsuit against McDonald's. And therefore, another thing is she could have waited for the person who driving her went to go inside to grab sugar and cream to come back to the car and basically help her or let him carry the coffee to her, and then therefore she wouldn't spill it because she wasn't the one driving, and because it was a parked vehicle. So in fact, she didn't really need to keep it between her legs. She could have held it. There's another way for really hot coffee. What you need to do is put the hot coffee. Normally, what you do is you have 2 cups. For really hot coffee, like for example, a long black or an espresso requires 2 cups because some people want it extra hot, and therefore you need to use two cups for that. So in the case of Liebeck, Stella Liebeck, at least if they had kept some kind of 2 cups plus the coffee inside, and then they put some kind of cardboard around the coffee mug, then I'm sure that it wouldn't have been so hot, and she could have just drank it. I mean, you can take small sips here and there, but still, I think that what she did was a bit of pretty stupidness on her behalf, because she kind of the one who spilled the coffee on herself, causing 3-degree burns, which is which she sued McDonald's for punitive damages, and therefore causing her to be hospitalized. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It is a frivolous case, as you know, and I've learned this case in torts under negligence, yeah, so it's very interesting for me to make this video so I can share the video with my cohort. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to smash the like button, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in court.